and warm welcome to all our viewers tuning into Parenting Summit 2024. Today, we dive into a topic that lies at the heart of every parent teen relationship: communication. Our session is titled Parent Teen Communication: How to Build Open, Trust Based Conversations. To guide us through this vital discussion, we are joined by Ms. Jyoti Gupta, Principal of Bal Bharati Public School, Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh. With her wealth of experience in nurturing young minds and fostering parent teachers partnership, Ms. Gupta is a passionate advocate for building strong, trust filled relationships between parents and teens. In a world where distractions often drown out meaningful dialogues, how do we ensure that communication bridge rather than divide generations? Let's find out. Welcome, ma'am, to Parenting Summit 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Shajitomi, for inviting me to this wonderful platform, Summit, where you have invited such erudite leaders. And I feel very, very blessed to be part of this and contribute in my little way.
Thank you, ma'am, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Right, ma'am. Before we start, our viewers would definitely like to know a little bit more about you. So, if you can briefly, introduce yourself, it would be wonderful, ma'am.
Sure. So I started my career as a teacher of English language, and poetry and drama have always been in my blood. So my classes were always very creative, full of life. And then I got into administrative leadership position. Uh, have traveled across the world, doing some very interesting collaborative work. Today, I am a founder principal at Balbharti Public School, Khandwa, which is in collaboration with Child Education Society, New Delhi, and Madhya Pradesh Power Generating Company Limited. And this is a little lovely township, quiet place. But coming here has made me realize one thing, that children all over the world, because I've traveled abroad, worked in different parts of the world, I have realized that children all over the world, they have similar issues and the parents have similar anxiety. And this
Right.
particular topic, when we talk about parenting communication, is a very, very dear topic to me, because I'm not only dealing this as an educator, but also at home as a mother whose son is in grade 12.
Okay, wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Great. So, ma'am, let's start. So, to start with, my first question would be to understand, why do you think parenting communication often becomes, strained during adolescence? And, is there any specific reason that stands out in your experience?
Absolutely. See, adolescent is a very navigating phase where children really need independence and autonomy. This is that phase where they have a lot of conflict with their parents and their parental expectation. And we have a tendency of comparing it with uh, the way we have been brought up. Moreover, if you look at it, there are hormonal and emotional changes that is occurring that also lead to a lot of mood swings and misunderstanding and unnecessarily heightened, sensitivity. And parents, sadly, they do not know how to adapt to these growing demands. So they are struggling. Moreover, if you look at the internet, the generational, if I call it, difference, it has created a huge gap, added misery, and the children in today's age and era, they know everything. So the parent is truly struggling.
Right, ma'am. Right. So, ma'am, this brings to the next question. Like, at what stage or age should parents start focusing on building trust-based conversations, and how can they adapt, their approaches as teen grows older?
Right. So I would say there's no as such an age, right from the youngest age one can think of, a tiny toddler also. You need to build up a beautiful way of communicating with children. Especially if I look at our school, if Bal Bharati has a beautiful way of teaching how to communicate with even the preschoolers, and we do a lot of parent workshops, and we would invite parents and share that how important it is at that age for the child to be expressed in a most tender manner. When you go to the next level, let's say, preteen, it has a different way of dealing with the child. But yes, you need to set your boundaries. You cannot just allow the child to do everything and anything. Having said so, when the child comes in the teen stage, you also have to understand his needs. So every age, every phase of the child's life is very important, and the parent needs to keep bridging this gap, and this can only be done by fostering a mutual respect and empathy. And nowadays you would be seeing in a lot of even national education policy, it talks about empathy being taught, and right from a very young age one needs to inculcate empathy among children so that they can equally empathize with what the parent is wanting. Yeah.
Right, right. Ma'am, you have touched upon my next question, but would like to, if you can give a little more detail around that. It's like, what are some of the common mistakes that parents make when trying to communicate with their teen, and how, they can avoid these pitfalls? Like,
I
one
think
you
so.
said,
This
yeah.
question would be very dear to me because at this point of time, I would be, I'm the victim as well as culprit if you look at it from my son's eye.
Mm.
Uh, I think so. The biggest mistake that we do is unnecessarily getting very anxious about their future. And this also comes from the Indian scenario that we are in. So it's a very competitive world. So the parent gets very anxious about what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
Also, I think so, especially if in the Indian context, we are overly critical, and we would be very vocal about our judgments and disagreements. So these are the things that, a young child definitely gets very irked by. And we need to deal this. Looking at, okay, this child is also going through hormonal, changes, and we need to understand the teen's emotion. I have a very bad tendency of lecturing all the time. I think so. Maybe this comes with the profession. So my son hates this side of me, uh, that I would pick up a topic and keep nagging. And yeah, these are the, I think so. And last but not the least, I also want to add that we also somewhere as parents neglect uh, the importance of privacy in their lives. You know,
Hmm.
uh, if I relate this with an Indian scenario, so the Westerners, of
Right.
course, when we do exchange programs with other countries, you realize how much importance they give to the privacy of their teenager. Here in
Right.
India, we need to know everything about our children. So we
Right.
are definitely anxious, judgmental, and over
Mhm.
possessive. And these are the problems that we are dealing with.
Right. So this point is very, very crucial, and that privacy is one thing which should be aware, we should keep in mind. Plus, one more thing which you very important, which you said, is like communication need to change with stages, like,
Absolutely, absolutely.
pre-teen it's different, during teen it's different, and as they grow, because that is something at times we as a parent or as an educator, we tend to neglect.
True.
We tend to just go with the flow, whereas not realizing that, with the age, the kind of communication we are
Hmm.
having need to be, it has to be age appropriate. It
And
has to be.
Shaju, it's very, very important at every phase, every age, you need to create a balance uh, between the dynamic authority that you want
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
have versus the approachability of sharing your own personal experiences. Sometimes, we are ourselves living in this dichotomy of becoming over friendly with our children and um, leaving that boundary, and sometimes
Hmm.
become very, very strongly attached to the child. So
Okay.
that kind of balance is very, very important in that dynamic.
Right. 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 My next question would be around, how does the school equip students to express themselves openly while respecting their parents' perspective?
Hmm. So I also would like to talk about the society here because our
Hmm.
school is under the Ages of Child Education Society, which was established in 1944, and which
Okay.
is basically is it takes care of all the Balbharti public schools pan India. So
Hmm.
here I would of course give the due to the society because there's a lot of training program that the society does with us as
Hmm.
educators, as leaders. As I
Hmm.
mentioned, empathy is something that they really focus upon. And
Hmm.
right
Hmm.
from the leader till, even the gardener has to show that empathy. That's what the society talks about. Also, we have
Right.
certain, empathy modules that we play in our schools from
Hmm.
time to time. And, we put children into scenarios and situations and have a lot of brainstorming discussions. And this is
Hmm.
particularly not only done by a life skill teacher or a counselor, but also, language teachers because they are fantastic with their language skills. That way, of course,
Right.
children are also imbibing good language skills. So we kind of
Hmm.
incorporate a lot of skills together. Having
Okay.
said so, we also give a lot of emphasis on, parent and a parent teacher relationship because
Okay.
this homeschool partnership is so important in bridging a lot of gap and making the child's life at ease. So whatever expectations that we would have from the child, or we would understand, we would like to have a patient hearing from the parent and have an understanding of what are they expecting from the school.
Hmm.
And sometimes this is all very interconnected,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And we do a lot of counseling sessions, not only with children, but also with parents. And
Right.
do student and parents workshop where we discuss these kind of conflicts. Rather, last year I had female doctor who came and discussed about adolescent issues, and we invited mothers and
Hmm.
the girls, and there was a lot of discussions, very very thought provoking discussion that was done. So these are there. At the same time, yes, there's also, of course, peer mentoring. And if there's a whole counseling cell that the school has, there's a lot of guidance work. We, from time to time, our mentors, they also pitch in, our advisor from Child Education Society, they
Okay.
pitch in and they discuss the concern,
Hmm.
not only with the teachers, but also they come to our area, and they would have
Right.
an open discussion with the parents. So the
Wow.
school has an open door policy, and I think so. The moment you start an open door policy, you start with an open communication. And
Correct.
rather, this morning I mentioned to you, we have a PTM happening today as well, Friday and Saturdays. So we've kept it open every month so that the parent doesn't feel that, oh, it's happening maybe quarterly. We do it every month so that they can discuss and they can meet all the teachers and discuss their issues. So yeah, these are the things that we focus on, life skill
Great.
sessions, and yeah.
Yes. So, then just building on it, what practical advice would you give to parents, to create a safe space at home where teens feel, heard and understood?
I think so. There's very, very a lot of importance need to be given to your inner mental peace. So you
Hmm.
need to get into some meditative exercises. You can't
Hmm.
just transfer your anxiety to the children. So
Hmm.
it's very important to have a control over your body, mind, and soul. That's the
Hmm.
first practical advice that I would give to a fast-paced world parent.
Right.
Everybody is running, and including me.
Hmm.
And we, because we want to aspire certain things which we've not achieved in our lives, or let's say in our
Very true.
child, we
Hmm.
unnecessarily want our children to be so perfect.
Right.
Second thing that I would, of course, want or I would desire for a world which is non-judgmental, and this competitive world can be completely finished. I am very, very glad that I'm a leader at a time when NEP and NCF, such a beautiful document, has come up, and
Hmm.
that the country really realizes and is working towards it. We are
Right.
a country where we are giving a lot of emphasis to skill-based education and not no more knowledge-based education. So as a parent, you need to give importance to that skill-based education and understand that, if you build up a skill in the child will find its path. And as I again and again talk about, this anxiety, I know the Indian parent, if I just restrict myself to our country, the Indian parent is only worried about मेरा
You sure?
बच्चा क्या करेगा,
Right.
12th के बाद क्या करेगा. सो
Mhm.
वो वाली जो एंजाइटी है उसके लिए मेरे ख्याल से द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी टॉक्स अबाउट दैट इतने सारे एवेन्यूज हैं आज के टाइम पे. बच्चा
Mhm.
इंजीनियर, डॉक्टर, टीचर, टीचर तो खैर रेयरली अब बनना चाहते हैं, बट डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, जज अगर बन नहीं पाया, आर्टिस्ट बनेगा, राइटर
Mhm.
बनेगा, म्यूजिशियन
Right.
बनेगा. एंड there's so
Right.
much of interdisciplinary you know initiatives that's been taken up and giving so much
Correct.
of importance to holistic environment of learning and teaching and multidisciplinary initiative, that बच्चा
Mm.
कहीं ना कहीं अपनी एक जगह पहचान बना लेगा.
Bilkul true.
तो
So,
yeah.
ma'am, yes. So, you know, uh, how can parents behave? I'm sorry. How can parents balance maintaining authority while being approachable and open to communication with their teens? Because we've seen at times, when you become friend with them, then the authority goes. So it's like a catch 22
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I completely agree. And it's very important to set boundaries. Somewhere you need to also know that you are a parent.
Mhm.
So, somewhere you need to set boundaries for the child. You need to have an open communication, and you also need to imbibe certain traditional values. See, our country has some very beautiful traditional values, and we take a lot of pride in, teaching those traditional values, not only in our school, but also we encourage parents to do it at home. सो व्हेन हमारे हिस्ट्री में इतनी अच्छी अच्छी चीज़ें हैं, हमें उसे इम्बाइब करनी चाहिए. और
Right,
वो एक बैलेंस और वो क्लियर गोल सेटिंग बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है करना. एट द सेम टाइम आई ऑल्सो फील there's certain expectation setting that you can do with your children. You can have a conversation and you can say, listen, I expect this from you. Can we find a midway? Okay, this is what I can do. Now, you tell me your set of things. The problem, Shaju, is that parents do not have time to invest with their
very
children.
true.
You need to
Yes,
invest in sitting and talking to the child and understanding what exactly he wants, and then make the
right.
child understand what you want. We really react to his reactions. So
Mm.
that way we are not finding a solution. But if you look at the Gen Zs, they are more intelligent, more practical than you and me, and
Right.
they are more perspective. So
Mm.
if we have really genuinely open communication with, again, I'm saying setting boundaries, you cannot be their friend. You can be approachable, but you can't be their
Mm.
uh, friend. फ्रेंड की अपनी जगह है और माता पिता की अपनी जगह है.
Correct.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है माता पिता को एक बाउंड्री सेट करके एक फ्रेंड अगर बन जाए तो वो बहुत अच्छी चीज होगी.
Wonderful message, man. Wonderful. That's a beautiful thought. So, as we conclude this interesting session, I want to thank and extend my, heartfelt appreciation for Miss Jyoti Gupta for sharing her insights on the, crucial aspects of parenting. Your perspective reminds us that communication is not just about asking; it's about listening, understanding, and growing together. To
Absolutely.
our audience, as you reflect on today's discussion, ask yourself, are you truly present in your conversation with your team? Building trust is a journey, not a destination, and every small steps, efforts counts. Thank you for joining for this enlightening conversation. Stay with us for more impactful sessions at the Parenting Summit 2024, where we continue to explore the joy and challenges of parenting teenagers. I would once again like to thank ma'am for your, you know, all invaluable insights you shared today.
Thank you so
Looking
much,
forward to
Shaju.
many more interactions.
Thank you so much, Shaju, for inviting and for this opportunity. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.